Greetings in my third part of the Lands Between Destruction guide. In the previous episodes, we have already obtained the power to face tank all the bosses, and even our clone easily can defeat demigods. But I am determined to squeeze the maximum out of this build, so in this part we will make our build more versatile, collect the best late game talismans, and fully prepare our character for New Game Plus, and maybe new DLC, if it's released during our lifetime. The first thing we need to do is to loot a couple of somber smithing stones for our sacred seal, because our build requires an absurd amount of faith for our sword, and as you may know, faith can be used for casting spells. Moreover, in the new location we are bombarded with high-level smithing stones. Pick up the 7th stone along the way to a rolled lift inside the giant skull. The 8th one is on a corpse lying on the frozen lake. Of course, we also visit the Church of Marika nearby, where we pick up the 3rd somber bell bearing, which we give to the twins. 9th one we obtain from the scarab near the Bestial Sanctum, and with all that stones we upgrade our sacred seal to +9. And which seal should we upgrade? Well, the strongest one in terms of pure damage scaling at maximum level, at a patch 1.9.1, is the Golden Order seal, but you're unlikely to use the specialized magic of this catalyst, and since we are focusing mainly on Faith stat, the most effective seal in our build in terms of scaling will be the Earth Tree seal. On the other hand, this catalyst strangely lacks any specialized spells, except for boosting instant heal incantations better than any other seal. Among the most useful ones is the Gravelstone seal, which is specialized on Dragon Cult incantations, and boosts its damage. However, most of these spells currently unavailable to us. And unlike the other seals, the Gravelstone seal has weight of 1.5 instead of 0. Our Dragon Communion seal don't have this problem, and on top of that it enhances the incantations class that will be pretty useful to us in the future. Basically, if you want to min-max effectiveness, you can cast using the Earth Tree seal with its best scaling, while holding an unupgraded seal matching the spell you're casting in the second hand to gain bonuses from both. But that might be too much, even for me. So yes, use Earth Tree seal or Dragon Communion seal. Now let's gather the coolest spells. 3 incantations come to mind immediately. Grail's Roar, a debuff that you apply to enemies hit by your shot, reducing their damage by 15% and increasing yours by 10. Currently, you don't really feel resistance from enemies, but on New Game Plus it will be pretty useful. Rotten Breath, another debuff that poisons enemies with Scarlet Rot. It will be extremely effective to use against a decent number of bosses at the beginning of the fight, and as the fight ended, it will inflict a significant amount of damage. These 2 spells can be bought in this area, for 4 Dragon Hearts. Another incantation, Frenzied Burst, simply an excellent long-range spell that is often used for safely cheesing phantoms and other humanoid enemies, like Gideon Ofnir, who all the time tries to dodge your attacks. It drops from this little scarab in this point of the map. You can experiment with a large number of spells, but for now I think what we have gathered will be enough. By the way, here are the easiest memory stones to obtain for increasing your spell slots. You can find more on Wiki. One you most likely already bought from the twins, the second you can take in the tower, near our good old farming balls. Just jump from here to the top of the tower and loot the chest. In the Liurnia's converted tower, do the same. Okay, next thing we'll do is open a couple of secret locations with the secret medallion. Take the right part of it from Old Man disguised as a pot in the Albinor village, and before taking the second part, if you don't want to miss a quest with a great reward, I recommend run through Lakeside Crystal Cave and talking to Latena. Now let's head to Storm Castle Sol.
Do you hear me? It is I, Latena. We're almost there. Castle Sol lies just off to the north.
As you can see, with our set of spells, buffs and other stuff, the boss can't really do much, whether we use our entire arsenal or simply spam the Ash of Warhorse sword. On the lift we move to the consecrated Snowfield, run through the mini-dungeon, activate the Site of Grace at the exit, and return to the place with the broken fence. Jump down, there will be an invisible path where you can loot the Silver Scarab, which increases item drop chance. It's perfectly complementing our Silver Fullfoot, which do the same, and Silver Tier Mask, which increases the arcane stat, that again boosts our item discovery. Run further along the path to obtain the first top tier resistance talisman in our collection, which increases our magic res by 20%. The first thing we need to do in consecrated snowfields is head north. Loot the map fragment and visit the local town. Before the stuff here, I recommend go to this merchant in Altus Plateau to buy Sentry's torch and perfume bottle. It will not be superfluous. Enter our goal with the torch. You don't need to hold it in your hand, just keep it in the second slot. It will anyway reveal invisibility of the local assassins. Light the candles on the 4 statues, and if you want, you can have a shootout with the archers, using your frenzied burst. We are at Heilig Tree, and of course, no one and nothing stops you from starting another shootout, but I recommend to just run past the local inhabitants. Our main goal is to obtain the strongest version of the Dragoncrest Talisman. Of course, don't forget to pick up this delicious ancient smithing stone near the red guy in the way. Dragoncrest Greatshield is a must-have in almost all builds that are not glass cannons, simply because almost every enemy in the game deals physical damage. It will be especially useful for us because we face tank and outheal almost any damage we receive, so every point of resistance is important. Additionally, I recommend looting the Flamedrake Talisman from the boss of this dungeon. By the way, in the same dungeon you can find the wonderful Bulgout Talisman. If our character wasn't already a tank in the best armor, this talisman should be one of the first to receive, but even considering that we have plenty of poise from the armor and our Ash of War, the Bulgout Talisman will not be superfluous in our collection, especially on a New Game Plus. Well, it's time to visit the Fire Giant, guarding the passage to Farum Azula. Equip Flamedrake Talisman by temporarily replacing Great Jar's arsenal. Take the seal in both hands so we can cast spells from the horse. If you're lacking Arcane for casting Rotten Breath, replace the helmet with the Silver Tear Mask. Buff yourself, poison the giant, and then switch to the sword to finish him off. Alternatively, you can keep spamming the breath spell. The main problem with this boss is that he constantly rolls around the arena, making it difficult to hit him, which dragging out the already uninteresting fight. However, our breath spell doesn't care how far he rolls away. The Scarlet Rot will still damage this pinnacle of boss design. Just remember to refresh the poison effect on him by using breath time to time. Burn the tree, in case if you don't want to use Melina as a fuel. I left a link in the upper right corner for a guide on how to save her. Also, when you burn the tree, the Nephilim quest fails, so I recommend completing it as well. It's one of the few quests in the game with happy ending. Anyway, we're in Farum Azula, the location with the highest concentration of top-tier loot in the game. After running through a couple of rooms, pick up Ancient Dragon Prayer Book with some cool incantations in it, and Somberstone Bell Bearing, lying on the floor. After running through a few more rooms and defeating an easy boss, we receive another Bell Bearing. This one is for default smithing stones. By the way, you can pelt these Turn, Stain and Smoke cosplayers with sleeping pots, like we did with this guy from Volcano Manor. And at the end of the location, we'll find the last Somberstone Bell Bearing in the game. Collect the remaining here, here and here. Now we can buy all the smithing stone types from the Twin Maidens, so we have the opportunity to try out new weapons and replenish our arsenal if you want. For example, to fight enemies with high resistance to fire. With our set of spells, we can already destroy them, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, in this part we will make our build more versatile. In general, you can choose your own weapon using this website. However, my choice fell on the Great Stars, because it combines the best things a weapon can have: blood loss buildup and health restoration after a hit. Upgrade it to plus 24 or 25 if you don't mind using an Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. The best affinity for our characteristics is the Sacred one, and the Sanctified Whetblade for it is located here. By the way, you already have the secret tier that boosts holy damage, so you can use it. The Ashes of War. Lion's Claw is a great option for more aggressive gameplay style, and Prayerful Strike if you want more healing from hit. Strike heals even more than Blasphemous Blaze Taker Flames, by the way, although its range is shorter. Speaking of War Ashes, since we primarily deal damage with them, it would be nice to acquire a talisman that boosts their damage. For this, we complete the quest of Iron Fist Alexander, talk to him at the Rodan Arena, then follow this path to the Lava Lake. and along this path from Gaskin to Grace, find him in Farum Azula.
Then let us begin.
After a friendly duel, we obtain an incredibly powerful talisman, which we definitely and irrevocably replace the char arsenal with, even if you have to remove some equipment due to overload. Because with endurance raised to 51, we will be able anyway to wear a full set of the strongest armor. But there is no stat that, when leveled up, will give us a 15% damage boost to our Ashes of War. So, yeah, Shard of Alexander must have. Well, essentially the foundation of our build is already assembled. For a perfection, we just need a couple of situational talismans that you can use against different bosses. As you remember, we've already collected a couple of Drake resistance talismans, to magic and to fire. And it wouldn't hurt to acquire the Bolt Drake talisman in Farum Azula along the path you see on your screen. Also don't forget about Helic Drake talisman in Mogwin Palace. Now, against each boss, if desired, you can choose a talisman that defends against type of damage boss have. Here is a list of all the Remembrance bosses in the game, along with the types of damage they have. Additionally, if you wish, you can loot the Ritual Shield talisman, which will be pretty useful on a new game +7 against some bosses with one-shot attacks. With our amount of healing from hits, keeping full HP won't be a big problem. And loot Godfrey icon here and Gravel Stone seal here, for buffing our Ancient Dragon's Lightning Strike spell that you will cast with your seal, which would also benefit from an upgrade to +10. Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone you can easily get by completing Latana's quest here. Also, in case you want to min-max your character, here's a few optional buffs. Blessing of the Earth Tree, an incantation that you probably already have, since it's obtained at Site of Grace right before Margit. It provides a 12 health regeneration for 90 seconds. Pickled Turtleneck for stamina regeneration. Recipe can be purchased here. It's made from Rova fruit, which we already collect in Charburg. Turtleneck meat, which can be bought in unlimited quantities from the twins if you give them bell-bearing from this nighttime boss. Herba can be farmed near the 4 Belfry Site of Grace, following this road. Next, Jellyfish Shield. It's located at this point on the map. Buffs your damage by 30% on 30 seconds when using shield skill. After that, just throw shield on your back. However, if you replace it with another item in the slot, the buff will disappear. So this shield buff cannot be used with 2 weapons in power stance or with another shield. Uplifting Aromatic gives you a bubble shield similar to Flask of Wonders Physic with Bubble Tear, but with that you don't need to waste Sacred Tear slot. Apply it before any other buff, because it has additional effects that can disrupt your subsequent stronger buffs. Aromatic is made using the recipe from the Perfumer's Cookbook 1, which can be found here. Now, ingredients. Perfume bottle, 2 of them can be found in the same location where we found Cookbook. Altus Bloom, which also grows in the same area. Again, you can simply run this road from the bonfire under these ruins. Budding Cave Moss, easily obtained by running this road from the Abductor Virgin's boss Grace. Arteria Leaf, farmed from trolls at this site of Grace. Silver Tear Husky obtained by following this road from Knight's Sacred Ground site of Grace in Nokron. Now the maximum possible ultra buff looks like this. Flask of Wonders Physic, Uplifting Aromatic, Blessing of the Earth Tree, Pickled Turtleneck, Golden Wow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and then Jellyfish Shield or use Greyol's Roar on enemy. But it's too ridiculously crazy even for me, so I think such buffing is worth doing only if you want to record a YouTube video. For an average fight, the default set of Physic Flask, Wow, and Flame Grant Me Strength is sufficient. Oh, and before I forget, Rune Arcs. You can farm them at this Grace following this road killing rats. Well guys, now you can enjoy the open world and test some new builds if you want, because this build is maxed out. Although, I hope you completed the Goron quest and finished all your business in Leyndell, because it's time to burn it. Go to this pit, jump a little, and in it you'll find the best version of our Ember Medallion. And going in the opposite direction from the mountaintops of giants, at this secret location you'll find the best version of Erdtree's Favor. Towards the end, after defeating the final boss, I can advise to craft a sword from its remembrance. Upgrade it to +9 and, in order to not respec our stats, use the Radagon Source Heal. So there is nothing stopping you from farming Albinorics at our good old farm spot. And if I don't know, in some new game pluses you decide to upgrade your endurance up to 59, here lies the another great stars for your another hand. I think I've covered everything you need for maximizing strength of a character in this game, so I remind you about likes, subscriptions, and all of that.